Welcome. Today we have reached a stage to have glimpses of the practical reach of Vedic mathematics, science and technology. We will be face to face with the applied values reach of Vedic mathematics, science and technology, and the two pillars, touchstones of the same are going to be mathematics and human body. Sharir, Sanrachana, Ganit, mathematics of the structural setup of human body is going to be the touchstone. In terms of it, we shall be appreciating, we will be glimpsing, we will be imbibing the practical reach of Vedic mathematics, science and technology. With this glimpsing and imbibing, we will be appreciating as to how the Vedic mathematics, science and technology will come to the rescue of the modern mind. The stagnation, the limitations of the modern thinking systems can be melted, removed, diffused, channelized, transformed to be parallel to the approach of Vedic systems. The Vedic systems are to be touched along the format of body structures of mathematics, and for it the test is Kal, Vidhi, Vidhan, time, the process, the procedures and the limitations within which there is going to be the functional domain of existence phenomenon within human body. Sharir, Sanrachana, Ganit, in the light of Kal, Vidhi, Vidhan, is going to be the ultimate test, and for it Brahma, creator, the supreme, is going to be the regulator. And we know that value 29 as hypercube 29 will be leading us to value 27, 28, 29 and 30, and the transcendence range will take us a step ahead to value 31. Kal Vidhi Vidhan is of value 54, 27 plus 27. There are 27 nakshatras of Surya and there are 27 nakshatras of Chandrama. So, entire solar universe, the complete existence phenomenon of Brahma and Purusha Satta and Surya Rashmi is going to be within Kal, Vidhi, Vidhan, and it is going to be that Brahma as presiding deity of hypercube 4 is as hypercube 29 transcending and making a range from 27 to 31 is going to be pairing with itself a Sharir, Sanrachana, Ganit. 31 we know is the value, is the synthesis value of a pair of transcendence ranges of a linear order 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and this is the synthetic glue. It takes us to value 31. This value 31 makes a reflection pair with value 13. Value 13 duplicates itself as value 26. It becomes a Kram Samapti. It is the sequential progression reach. As such, the students of Vedic mathematics, science and technology, glimpsing the practical applications, reach of Vedic systems, will initiate themselves, begin with by following a formulation Kram Samapti. The formulation Kram Samapti as TC values pair 13 and 26 will help us appreciate that within a surface, a plane, we can have a simultaneous manifestation for interval as well as for a sequoia. It is this simultaneous manifestation of interval and a square means the first axis and the pair of axes. It is this two-phased manifestation along the surface. Therefore, instead of a linear order, when we will be shifting to a spatial order, means two space in the role of a dimension, then this chase is going to be of a pair of phases. So the first axis has independent existence within two space, and first axis along with the second axis as well as an independent existence within two space, both as a pair of phases, it as a complementary and supplementary phenomenon, both simultaneously happening independently as well as in a unified state with a spatial. It is this phenomenon of a Kram Samapti which is the essential and reach process of the chase steps, working steps of Vedic system. For appreciation, comprehension, imbibing of the format, features and values of Kram Samapti, we have to go to the source preservation as Sutra 4.32 and 4.33 of Patanjali Yoga Darshan. The Sutra 4.32 Tat Krit Arthanam Parinam Kram Samapti Gunanam, and the Sutra 4.33 Kshana Pratiyogi Parinam Aprant Nirgrahe Karma. Now, this Kram as a definition and this value of the Kram for its end reach value. So, sequential progression, reach, values, features and format of Vedic mathematics, science and technology is the source of formulation, and for its appreciation we have to see that when we are working with the sequence, say of its terms S1, S2, S3, then we see a reach from S1 to S2 as well is going to be of a sequential steps, and see these sequential steps can be S11, S12, S13. So the first value of the sequence and a reach up till the second value of this sequence is having a jump, is having a gap. This gap as well is to be bridged in terms of a sequence S11, S12, S13, and the second step will be bridged at S21, S2, S3. Therefore, between a pair of values of a sequence will follow another sequence of the values range. Therefore, the gap between the pair of values of a sequence is to be bridged in terms of another sequence. It is this feature, it is this value, it is this phenomenon which is to be appreciated, to be comprehended, to be imbibed, and the same is to be applied. This will take us to the Kram Sampti as a working step of a pair of phases of linear single axis format progression and the pair of axis progression format, both simultaneously happening, appearing, available as complementary and supplementary within a spatial order space. We know that Lord Brahma is the overlord of hypercube of 4 space. 4 space body, hypercube 4 is a fourfold manifestation layer of 2, 3, 4 and 5, making value 14. Now 4 space is a spatial order space, means 2 space is playing the role of dimension of a 4 space. It is 3 space which is a linear order space. However, while availing the format of Vedic mathematics, science and technology, we have to transit to a spatial order space. This spatial order space is going to be a fourfold manifestation layer 2, 3, 4, 5 of summation value 14. This space being a spatial order space, and when the same is manifesting as 2, 3, 4 and 5, then at the next phase it will be manifesting from hypercube 4 state to hypercube 14 state, and this hypercube 14 we know is of 29 versions. Lord Brahma, the overlord of real 4 space, is the second phase and stage of the manifestation within the creator's space itself. Creator's space is a 4 space. Its first manifestation is as a hypercube of 4. The second manifestation is as hypercube 14. It is this hypercube 14 which is of 29 versions, and these 29 versions are 29 bodies. These 29 bodies as such are the representative regular bodies of 29 geometries range of hypercube 29, and it is this feature, it is this value which is to be appreciated for its complete comprehension, to attain an appropriate enlightenment, to have an appropriate enlightenment about the existence phenomenon within human frame as Sharir Sanrachana Ganit, to be parallel to the mathematics of the format of existence phenomenon within human body. We have to be face to face with Kal, Vidhi, Vidhan. Kal as value 9 is parallel to the 9 geometries range of hypercube 4. So this 9 geometries range of hypercube 4 sequentially will take us from 9 into 1 to 9 into 2 to the next stage of 9 into 3. It is this stage, a third stage of reach at value 27, will lead us to 27 as dimension and 29 as a domain. Therefore, the reach at value 29 as a domain, we have to have the availability of value 27 in the role of a dimension. 27 itself is value 3 raised to power 3. So it is a 3-dimensional frame of half solid dimensions. It is this feature, it is this value which deserves to be comprehended well for its proper appreciation and comprehension. Now this dimensional frame, a 3-dimensional frame of 3 solid dimensions but being half. So half, triple solid dimensions as a dimensional frame, and again in the role of a dimension, leading us to value 29, which is the value of the formulation Brahma, the overlord of the creator's space. one shall sit comfortably and permit the transcending mind to be face to face with these values and features. Once we will be parallel to these values and features, then we will be face to face with, we will be conscious of the existence phenomenon within human frame. Therefore, the human intelligence as a field within a brain in the head as one of the organs of a human body itself will bring us face to face with the phenomenon of that the fourth chakra is four space format, is of hypercube format, is to lead us to value 29, means it will be the phenomenon of the existence of Brahma. And when Lord Brahma multiplies as 10 Brahmas by having a meditation within the cavity of heart at the seat of a transcendental Lord Shiva. Therefore, we as sadhakas have to be parallel to the values, features of the format of existence phenomenon within human body, and for it we have to dive within one's own heart. We have to meditate by transcending within one's heart and to be face to face with the cavity where is a transcendental seat of the transcendental Lord. It is by glimpsing, it is by visiting, it is by face to face with it, it is by a reach at the cavity of the heart that there will be overflow of the transcendental grace. It is this transcendental grace which will be making a transcendental phenomenon of Lord Brahma multiplying as 10 Brahmas. Therefore, it is this feature that the Lord Shiva, who is a solid order set up, will take us to Lord Brahma in the fourth space. So it is this phenomenon and it is this reach. 3 space means reaching from 4 to 3 is to reach is one orientation, and when here it is a 5 space as a dimension and reaching back to 4 it is another orientation. It is the phenomenon of a pair of orientations available, and it is the phenomenon of a spatial order. Therefore, ultimately the entire existence phenomenon chase of the human body is to be as of a creator's of space. Now see, the creator's of space itself as 10 Brahmas will be leading us to a raised to power 5 is to 10, b raised to power 4, making 11 versions. And these are the 11 versions which make the formats for the 11 senses. Of the 11 senses, 5 are the organs and 5 are the domains of the organs, and 11th is the mind, the intelligence field, a buddhi, where it would be. Now see, the first sense is tvacha, skin. We are at the first sense. It is tvacha, is skin, and it is of value 16, and this value 16 accepts organization 2 raised to power 4. It is parallel to the spatial order dimensional frame of quadruple spatial dimensions of a 4 space. And the domain means 16 is a reach of a skin from 14 as a dimension, and it is the sparsh. Sit comfortably, open a new page, make a mention that this body as it is enveloped within a skin. This skin, tvacha, is of value 16. This value 16 is parallel to the value of the dimensional frame of quadruple spatial dimensions of a 4 space. Now sparsh. Now this skin and this touch and sparsh, we will be touching the space outside. The three-space solid body, as a three-space body, as a cube, will be touching a four space. So it is the existence phenomenon of solids within a four space. We human beings as solid bodies are existing within four space. Let us sit comfortably and let us be face to face with our own body. This body is enveloped within a skin. This tvacha skin is of value 16. This value 16 is equal to 2 raised to power 4. It is parallel to the dimensional frame of a four space. Therefore, it is this skin, the outer enveloping portion of the body is the skin. It is the tvacha. Therefore, this skin is a setup of the values of the format of a dimensional frame. Now, this skin, this tvacha, will have a sparsh touch of the outer space. The outer space is space outside the skin. So, this our touch is going to be of value 14. So, it is 2, 3, 4 and 5. It is hypercube 4. It is the representative regular body of a four space. Let us have a pause. See this body as a solid. This solid body is having a boundary, a surface. It is this tvacha. This tvacha is having a sparsh of the outer space, a four space. Now, it is this phenomenon, it is this value, it is this feature which is to be imbibed as that the space in which we are existing is not a three space, it is a four space. This space, which is a four space, is a space in which the solids are having a degree of a freedom of a motion. Solids are the linear order setups. So these three dimensions of setups are having a degree of a freedom of motion within four space. Now this four space, which has a quadruple dimensions, in which 12-edged cube is having a degree of a freedom of motion which manifests as 13th edge, so the value 13. Further, we know that the dimension or the axis of four space is of a spatial format. Now, single axis is of value 13 and pair of axes will lead to value 26. It is this feature, it is this format which makes a Kram Sampti. Now, this value 30 as a degree of freedom of motion and this value as the total format of the setup of a pair of axes. So, it is within a surface that we can have interval and surface both. It is pair of phases, it is a complementary and supplementary stage. It is this feature, it is this availability, this set of values which are available, and it is this availability which potentializes the Vedic systems over the linear order mathematics adopted and being worked out and being availed and being confronted by the modern system. For it, if we want to reach from 1 to 2 and the next step is 3, we see 2 is 1 into 2 and 1 is 2 into half. So if we want to start 1 as a 2 into 1 and half, we will reach at value 1 over 2. Next step will be 2 over 3, and then will be 3 over 4, and so on. Ultimately we reach at value 1. However, if we are starting with this feature, then we'll see will be 2 over 1, 3 over 2, 4 over 3, and here as well we'll reach at value 1. Therefore, it is a reach from half to 1. For bridging the gaps of these sequential steps. So bridging the gaps of these sequential steps as per this feature will be reaching from half to 1, which means we are taking it that 1 as a 2. Then if the next step we will have a reach from 2 to 1, it amounts to taking 2 as a 1. It is the creator's space, it is the force space, and the force space mathematics is having simultaneous pair of processing steps of the mathematics of half as a working unit. So 1 as a 2 and 2 as a 1 are the pair or processing steps, a pair of working units simultaneously available within the setup of a creator's space. So if we want to be parallel to the working steps of VMS&T, then we have to be parallel to the spatial order setup of a creator space, a force space, and there would be an availability of a pair of processing steps, 1 as a 2 and 2 as a 1. Therefore, the initial linear order single unit 1 as a 1 processing steps are going to be of mental blocks. To melt these mental blocks, we have to transit from linear order to a spatial order, where there will be an availability of a pair of processing steps of 1 as a 2 and 2 as a 1. Once we are face to face with it, once we are comprehending and imbibing these features, then we can see that we can reach the format of dimensional synthesis. Modern system as such is not working out dimensional synthesis. For appreciating dimensional synthesis reach of VMS&T, first of all we have to appreciate that 0 into 0 into 0 is a value 0, and 1 into 1 into 1 is a value 1. And further we know that 1 raised to power 0 as well is 1, and 0 raised to power 1 is a 0. It is this reach 1 raised to power 0 as 1 and 0 raised to power 1 as 0, which is the underlying format which is availed by the Vedic systems to reach at the dimensional synthesis. Now we know that if we are having a setup of n points, then one point at this end and one point at this end will be giving us a setup of n minus 2 points coverage between a given pair of endpoints. It will lead us to value n. From this value n, we will be at the next step, reaching at when we are having a pair of axes. Say here were n points, means n minus 2 points, 1 point and 1 point. The second axis as well will provide us n points, and this 1 point here amounts to superimposition of a point over a point. So here pair of points are there which gets superimposed here. Now between this pair of endpoints there will be n minus 2 points. Therefore, by having an availability of the second axis, we have reached from here to here, and this reach from here to here as such is going to be first n points for first axis, then n points for the second axis. Out of that, n minus 2 points are being availed to bridge this gap. So at the end result, we are reaching value n plus 2. So the single axis is leading us to value n. The pair of axes or leading us to value n plus 2. A step ahead, when we're having a triple axis, here again, here we can have a 0, 0 and 0, the triple point superimposition. Therefore, this bridging will require n minus 2 points and this bridging as well. So, from this point, we have to have a pair of bridgings here and here. This pair of bridgings will require an 2 into n minus 2 set of points. Therefore, they reach n plus 2 with the additional value available n makes ultimately value 6. At the next step, we can see that this value 6, when given additional value n, then the adjustment required would be triple of these values. It will give us to value 12 minus 2, 1. It is this table, it is this reach of synthesis of the dimensions of the same order for n may be of any value, negative to positive and 0. So particularly when we are linear dimensions of the same order, it will lead us to value 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, 21, so on. When we will be spatial dimensions, when n would be 2, we'll reach at value 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12. It is here where the Vedic systems have very successfully reached at a dimensional synthesis in terms of the artifices of numbers. It is this reach from the geometric formats to artifices of numbers, and it is this attainment which is going to be the real attainment, real breakthrough of the Vedic systems. Students of Vedic mathematics, science and technology who want to be face to face with the end reach of the applied values domain of Vedic mathematics, science and technology shall reach at this tabulation, the concept of dimensional synthesis of the same order, but order may be any. So the value n may attain any of the values. However, a single dimension of value n, pair of dimensions of value n each, triple dimensions of value n, so on. For n is equal to 1 means a linear dimension. So single linear dimension, then the pair of linear dimensions, triple linear dimensions, quadruple linear dimensions. So we can see that linear dimension single gives us value 1, pair of linear dimensions will give us value 1 plus 2, 3. The triple linear dimension will give us value 1 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to 6, and so on. Like that, if when n is equal to 2, so the single spatial dimension will give us value 2, then we'll get value 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on. We know that the human frame is of a Shad Chakras format of external characteristics 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12. These we know are the values of a single spatial dimension, pair of spatial dimensions, triple spatial dimensions. These are the quadruple spatial dimensions and so on. These are also the boundary components of hypercube 1, hypercube 2, hypercube 3 and so on. Therefore, the Vedic systems approach to the structural setup of human body is parallel to the external characteristics 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, which are parallel to the boundary components of hypercube 1 to 6. And further we have seen that these values are parallel to the dimensional synthesis of the spatial dimensions. So dimensional synthesis of spatial dimensions would mean that we will be reaching at a solid body enveloped within a spatial boundary. So it is this spatial boundary, two space at a boundary, it will be playing the role of a dimension, and once it plays the role of a dimension, and we know there are as many as 6 surface plates for the cube. These surface plates will sequentially as a single surface will give us value 2, pair of spatial components 4, and ultimately we'll get the value 12. This way we can see that the Vedic mathematics, science and technology is availing the structural setup of the spatial dimensions, and these spatial dimensions as the working features of the human body are to be comprehended and to be applied. By this comprehension, we will see as to how the modern mind, which is held up for the Goldbach theorem. This Goldbach theorem as such is the final held up state of the axioms and postulates of the modern mathematics. The modern mind, the modern mathematics is held up because there is insistence that we can approach a sequence as a setup of sequential organization stitched as a linear organization. The gaps between the pair of sequential steps as such are to be filled up, and these as well are to be filled up as sequences, and this will amount to that the sequence steps S1 and S2 certainly lead us to a gap, and to fill up this gap we have to have another sequence. Now it is this feature, it is this value which is to be comprehended, and it is the Kram Sampti. The Vedic systems are successful to work out sequential organizations by filling the gaps between the pair of values of a given sequence. So a sequence is having value at the first step and value at the second step, but we reach from value at first step to reach at value at second step, there remains a big gap. This gap itself is to be bridged in terms of a sequence of values. Therefore, it is going to be a setup of points which, when are organized, they make a format of a line, or these accept a setting along a line, or these can be taken as constituting as a line. However, between the pair of points there is a bridge, and it is to be bridged, and it can be bridged as well as a line. So those who are acquainted with NVF's natural value formats of 26 values 1 to 26 parallel to the alphabet, English alphabet of 26 letters, and when this would be applied to a point. Now these letters, points P, 16, O, 15, I, 9, N, 14 and T, 20, it will lead us to value which is equal to one line. See, the one line is having NVF value which is equal to a point. So point is to be taken as a structured point. Therefore, the pair of points which are having gap which is to be filled up, and it is this bridging of the line. This gap bridging by a line will make a point itself as a line. How the number of points together structure out a line, or how line accommodates a infinite number of points. So points, infinite number of points formatted along a line, taken as that line is being structured as a setup of points, will make point as a line. So each point is a line, point as one line. So point as a one line, point as a structured point is a concept, is a practical working step of Vedic mathematics, science and technology, and it amounts to that our surface as it is, which is a setup of a points, which is going to make it a setup of lines. So these points of a surface are making a lines. So surface as lines, lines as points, and points of the surface becoming the lines. These are the features. It is a Kram Sampti, and it is this feature which is to be comprehended well. And once we will be face to face with this feature, this value, this format of Vedic mathematics, science and technology, then we will be comprehending, reaching at the proof of the Goldbach theorem. Goldbach theorem is accepting a proof by approaching it in terms of the values, features and format of the spatial order of the creators of space. The modern mathematics insistence upon its axioms and postulates to be of a linear order are coming in the way of the reach at the proof for the Goldbach theorem. In the next session, we will be taking up this proof, and with this proof, we will be having the Glimpse-1. The first glimpse is going to be of the reach of the Kram Sampti. It is the glimpse of a spatial dimensional order, two space in the role of dimension. It is going to be a glimpse of a single axis and pair axis simultaneously available, working as complementary and supplementary. It will take us to Sharir Sanrachana Ganit, and it would be going to be parallel to Kal Vidhi Vidhan. And it is the mathematics of, it is the technology of the creator's space, a force space. We have to transit, we have to transform, we have to transcend from the limitations of a linear order of a three space. We have to transit and transcend from a linear order, and we have to be along the spatial order format of a creator's space, where only we can have a Kram Sampti sequential progression reach can be had only by being along the spatial order format of the creator's space. Thank you very much.